Greetings. Let's reflect together on week 10. That was a wonderful discussion about self-regulation. I want to talk a little bit about the socio-cultural and political context of self-regulation. Isn't it interesting that in a society in which most of the adults are addicted to immediate gratification, that we expect delayed gratification and self-regulation from our young children? Um, excuse me. I mean, here we are in a situation where there is a vast discrepancy between how most adults live and what we're expecting of children. And actually, truth be known, a lot of parents don't expect self-regulation of their children and want to be their friends, and those are the children who you see in the restaurant who are terrorists, who just don't seem to have any capacity for self-regulation, and apparently neither do their caregivers. And one could understand that if the caregivers are in a social and cultural context in which self-regulation is not valued. There's also the issue of the fact that we are a consumption-oriented consumer society, and we're under the illusion many times that we can have whatever we want when we want it. So how are we going to teach our kids self-regulation in this context? You had a wonderful conversation about parents who are stressed and how that might complicate helping their children learn self-regulation. And it's true. If parents are stressed, whether they're parenting as teenagers or whether they're single parents or whether they're two-person households with high incomes, parents are busy and stressed in this society at a greater level than they have been at almost any time in history, and have less time for kids. And so since we're working from an ecosystemic perspective, one thing that's very important is for us to support the parents and other caregivers if we expect them to be relaxed and mindful enough to understand what their young children need and to support them in their development, in this case, learning self-regulation. We have another problem, which is that in a capitalist society, we have corporations telling us that we are inadequate and will not be complete until we buy this and buy that, and then a bigger this and then a bigger that. And so it's not a mystery why children will come with their parents to a store and scream for what they see that they want. Interesting that in a wonderful film called The Corporation, which, by the way, you can see for free on the internet, one psychologist discusses how her company actually researches how you can make children drive parents crazy until the parents finally give in and give them what they want. So that's actually the strategy behind all of those intriguing looking candies and whatnot right at children's eye level that are in the checkout counter in the grocery store. Creepy, eh? In week 11, you had a wonderful conversation about school readiness. And here again, I want to reflect a little bit with you on the socio-political context. Um, how can we expect our children to learn when we deprive them of free play, which is the way most children, which is the way all children do learn? They learn through play social skills, problem-solving skills. They learn the capabilities that they have in their gross and fine motor coordination. They learn everything essential through free play. And what are we doing in our capitalist system? We are depriving them of opportunities for free play because seeing them as extensions of our own selves, we are over-programming them to teach them how to enter school already knowing how to read and write, to compete in sports when they can hardly walk, and as a result, kids are spending almost all of their time programmed, and then they go to school and come home, and these little kids have 2 hours of homework, and then guess what? Kids spend an average of 7 hours a day in front of the television and a computer screen. So who are we raising here? What are we creating? So there are real problems associated with the absence of allowing free play for our young children, because we're restricting their imaginations, we're restricting their cognitive development, and then expecting them to perform well in school. So it's yet another symptom of a society that is sick, as opposed to children with self-regulation issues being the problem. They are symptomatic of the broader societal problem. And of course, then there's the issue of creating that situation for kids and then medicating them if they are not able to self-regulate. So how funny is that? Anyway, I very much enjoyed your conversations and the literature reviews and the questions the facilitators asked, and I'm so glad to hear so many of you talking about how many things you've already learned in this class, and to share your own wisdom and imagination with one another. So that's all for now. I'll see you shortly.